Alright guys, let's see what we've got here. Obviously, I've gone ahead and bought myself an Orbital Sander. You do not have an idea how... Ooh, what was that? You have no idea how long I've had to wait to get my hands on this. Oh, it looks so compact. Okay, and it comes with a manual. This is good. You know, you bought from a quality seller when they bought a manual. And I've got the different sanding discs. This is a P80, what's this, P120, and then P240. So two of each, 80, 120, 240, just what I need for this job I've got outside. So here is the sander. You know what I like about this is I can always just hold it like this. Can't wait to get started. Is this the handle? Alright, so it's got a soft handle, so it absorbs most of the vibrating. I really can't wait to taste this tomorrow. So here's how it goes. Put down there, connect it to the electricity, and there is no buttons. Oh, there's one here, the on-off button, on-off switch. This is going to do some great work. Yeah, definitely. Problem solved. Thank you, Pussy. So I'm going to paint my whole car, but I'm going to do one panel at a time. I've already started sanding it. So we're going to go bonnet, front bumper, panels, headlights, wing mirrors, doors, rear bumper, boot lid, engine cover, and then the roof and quarter panels, and the car is done. So I'll just do one panel, put it back on, one panel, put it back on. I'm aiming to have this car back on the road by summer next year, so I've got all the time in the world. I'm going to show you step by step how you can paint your car as well. So here's my bonnet. I sanded it down with sander, an electric sander. It's much smoother, it's quicker, especially focusing on the damaged areas, making sure they're flat. And then now I've put my first layer of primer, focusing mainly on the damaged areas, the ones you see in white patches. And now I'm going to sand the second coat and then let it dry for 10 minutes and then the final. This is my second layer of primer. I'm doing it lightly so it doesn't shrink and crack, allowing it enough time to dry properly. So now I've timed again for 10 minutes, and this is the same process I will be applying to every panel on the car until the whole car is done. So you guys can also do this at home. Here is the final coat of my primer, but if you know, you know, bugs are a common occurrence. Look, I got that jammed in there, so I have to brush it down once my primer is dried. I also have a little scratch here. It will show in the paint, but I'll live with that instead of, you know, restarting all over again. And I have another little imperfection right here, but I'll have to live with that. It's my car, I'm doing the painting, I'm saving money, and some things will be missed. It's okay, as long as your paint looks as good as you can make it look. That's all that matters. For those inquisitive minds who are wondering why I have put my bonnet at this angle, is because I want to make sure that my primer is wet but is not running. If you see it running, you've done too much. it's only extra work for you because we have to sand it down. But even if you sand it down, sometimes the running lines will always stay there. You have to be really good. So this way I make sure I put just enough to make it look wet without making it runny. And that's the way with primer and paint work as well. So I will be doing this with all my panels, and with priming, painting and clear coating as well. You need to make it just wet enough to avoid running, and you know you're doing a good job if you do that. Here are all the tools I'm using. My spray gun, that makes it a lot easier, because if you use your finger, by the time you do your second or third coat, your finger will be a bit numb, and I don't like that. Once my primer is dried, I'm going to key it in with this to make sure my paint will attach to it, no problems, and also to get rid of those bugs, or that one bug. But this just removes all the impurities. I prefer this with a soft sponge as compared to this board or using these sandpapers. So I would rather use this. I produce better results with this. Even my paint and my clear coat, I realize that I get better results using this than trying to use the paper. But when I'm sanding down, prepping my work, I always use the 280 grit or 180 if I'm removing really tough patches, and then I'll up it up to about between 400 and 600 grit, and that should leave it smooth enough for me to start my priming and painting. But when I'm done painting, I will be using, so this is the paint I'm using, Atlantis Blue Matte, BMW, paint code 399. It's the closest match I could find for my car. So yeah, looking forward to seeing the finished thing. So on to the paint now. This is the first layer of paint, very light. What I'm doing here is just putting a foundation for my paint. This is the bond between the primer and the paint. So it's like a magnet that the next two layers of paint will adhere to. So it doesn't need to be heavy, just has to be light, like I did with the first layer of primer. It was just light. Otherwise, if you put too much, if it gets too wet on the first layer, the chemicals may not react properly and you might end up with wrinkles or bubbles. So this is how you avoid wrinkles and bubbles. First layer has to be light. You allow it to air dry for 10 minutes. I've put my timer on for 10 minutes, and this allows for the paint, some of the chemicals to evaporate, and it dries partially. And then when I put the second layer, I'll also allow another 10 minutes, and then third layer. By then I should be happy with the look of it. If I'm not happy, I might go a fourth layer, which I'll just have to dust over to avoid areas that are light, because as you can see on here, there will always be little areas that will be very light. So on the fourth layer, it's really just dusting it to make it look even, and that's how you do it. This is my second layer of paint. As you can see, still got lines. That's all right. So this is my third coat, but it looks as if I'm gonna need a fourth and final coat. That's the one I'm gonna dust over to just blend all those lines, because no matter how much clear coat I put on, if the paint work doesn't look good, it's not gonna look good by the clear coat. So I'm going to blend it now. I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes to dry and then blend it. Here's my finished bonnet. I've had problems before, but not like this. You see those lines of clear coat? I had to continue because I didn't want to mix two different clear coats. But the problem I'm having with this one is the nozzle. The nozzle just sprays sporadically. It's not vertical like some of the nozzles I've used, or all the nozzles I've used before. So instead of spraying like this, it's just spraying everywhere. It's just round and sporadic, so you cannot focus the spray. So I had to come really close, and by going that close, I've ended up doing that. I'm not happy with this, so I'm gonna wait for it to dry and then sand it down, see if it's okay. If it's not okay, then I'm just gonna have to respray it again, remove the clear coat, and respray a layer of paint, and maybe just the clear coat alone may do it. I don't know. So I'm leaving it at this now. When I finished clear coating this bonnet, I was very upset because of how poorly the clear coat was spraying from the can. But now looking at this, I'm well happy about this.